In this session, we're looking at the Uber business model. Uber is an interesting case because it's actually a case of where a company managed to disintermediate an entire industry. It's one of those cases in which a company is managed to build a platform, a peer-to-peer platform that enables, riders, in this case drivers, to connect with each other. Now, we might give it for granted, but of course, when Uber first came out, it was a huge innovation, and it really sort of dismantled various industries, and it showed the power of the internet, so how the internet could be used how to actually disintermediate entire industries. Now, when it comes to Uber, the platform is very interesting because it pretty much a two-sided marketplace, is a peer-to-peer two-sided marketplace where on the one side you have the drivers, and on the other side you have the riders. The drivers who join the platform, for instance, to make an additional income by being flexible and let's say without having a boss, if you wish. Of course, initially drivers on Uber could make a lot of more money, and that the money that could be made today. But we'll see also another part of the Uber platform which is extremely interesting. And then for the riders, they could have more options, and it's not just about the fact that Uber disintermediated the taxi industry. Instead, when a company, a platform, let's say enters a new market, initially it might also steal market shares from existing players and therefore disintermediate part of the market. But in reality, the whole point is that when a company first enters a market and creates a successful peer-to-peer platform, initially this platform grows and grows, and it grows bigger than the market itself or the market that it existed before. So in other words, the value of Uber is not just about taxis, it's about actually giving more options to riders, and also giving them a choice, especially in the cities, not to own a car. So for some people, especially in the beginning, Uber was really a great choice because they could avoid to own a car. So they could avoid to actually buy a car and in the city just ride a Uber when they needed it. So again, Uber is an interesting case of a platform who disintermediated the distribution of an entire market by creating a new market which eventually became larger than the existing one. Now, if we look at Uber over time, it also evolved into what we can call a three-sided platform, which is UberEats. UberEats is made of three main players. So the difference between the Uber main platform and the UberEats platform is that the UberEats platform is made of the eaters, the drivers, and the restaurants. The eaters, of course, which want the convenience to get food at home. The drivers who want to leverage on the existing Uber platform to actually even have more options or make some more money and have their own activity. And then restaurants there to actually expand their customer base, so to have more options, but also to prevent to having to set up a delivery service on top of their existing restaurant business, because it might sound trivial to actually create a delivery service, but while it might be easy to do it at a very narrow level, let's say in your neighborhood, it's much more complex to do it in a larger space of a town, especially of a big city. So this is where this service like UberEats comes very handy. It's called the last mile business model, where actually the platform provides very easy setup for the delivery, of course by taking a very large commission in this case, but that's the whole point of its business model, and that's the whole point of UberEats, which again is a three-sided marketplace with three main players. But how does Uber works in terms of network effects? Uber leverages on what the company calls liquidity network effects, which is really and simply the way to explain how the platform becomes more valuable over time. Those usually start by enabling a driver's supply on top of the platform, which enables lower wait times and fares, and therefore more riders join in. As more riders are joining the platform, more riders per hours more riders can join us. They can get higher earnings potential, and therefore even more drivers get into the platform. So again, the liquidity network is created when more drivers come into the platform. this lowers up the wait times and fares, and more riders are joining in, and as more riders are into the platform, the more riders will join, and that's how more drivers will be drawn to the platform. It's very important to highlight that the supply of drivers, for instance, on top of the platform is beneficial until a certain extent, meaning that there is a lower wait time below which there is no other advantage. Another key element to take into account is that the liquidity effect of Uber as a platform and the network effects as Uber as a platform is also, let's say, local, meaning that on each city that the company is starting up, of course, it doesn't have to start from scratch, as for instance, people from New York can travel to San Francisco and use the service, and the more travel there is, so the more there is like people moving from one city to the rest, the more the network effects are valuable for the company. But when kicking off its operations in a new place, in a new city, also regulatory logics apply, and therefore the company will have to kick off its network effects again. Another element to take into account when it comes to the Uber business model story is actually the dynamic pricing, which also plays a key role. So where usually a company has a single price point, in the case of Uber you get multiple price points, which is the whole point of dynamic pricing. On the platform, dynamic pricing has been used especially to decongest the platform, so to avoid congestion and to balance out supply and demand. So imagine the case in which in a very busy time of the day, the price, instead of being the same, instead of having a single price point, the price is going to go up. Therefore, having riders pick up only certain routes, or at least incentivizing drivers to actually pick up those busy rides because they can make more money. So this is another element that has made Uber balance out supply and demand. So this very interesting business model. Again, Uber is a company who has disintermediated a whole industry, but also creating a much wider market compared to the one existing before, and it has done it through a two-sided peer-to-peer platform and marketplace that over time also transitioned with UberEats to becoming a three-sided marketplace.